Ask George is brought to you in association with International Cricket Tours. Now, ICT are dedicated specialists in taking supporters all over the world. Now, get in touch with their dedicated team and they can take you to the Caribbean, Pakistan, the Women's Ashes, New Zealand. Love cricket, love travel, choose International Cricket Tours.
Here we are, we're at Lord's. We've just had the third and final day of the first test between England and West Indies.
The end of a great career.
Mr. Anderson, not mine, not yours. And it's Ask George. And the first question is from our dear old friend, Jack Rule.
It's always sad to see a once great performer coming to the end of his career, isn't it?
Petering out, isn't it?
Yeah. Who knows what will become of him? I can't really see him being a mentoring figure. That's all I'd say. To young journos. Anyway.
Better than... I'd be very friendly to people. Have you noticed?
You're always very friendly.
Yeah. Right, shall we start? Jack Rule. I said, are there any more Surrey players that we are missing that need to be squeezed into this England team?
Well, you could argue, couldn't you? Yeah, I mean, maybe. Jordan Clark would be a possibility for that 8 role, wouldn't he?
Did you look up his age?
No, I meant to. He'd be 33, possibly. I mean, he's a good bowler. He can bat. He could do the Wokes role, couldn't he? I mean, that's not a ridiculous thing. The tennis is on in the background here, by the way. Incredibly loud.
He's quite old. He's 33. I say quite old. I mean, he's younger than I am, but he's relatively old, isn't he?
That's why I just said he was 33.
Oh, did you say he's 33?
Yeah,
I missed
think
that.
so. Yeah, but I was guessing. But to be fair, and Tom Laws probably isn't very far away. So they're a very good club, aren't they? They produce a lot of cricketers. So I think you probably meant it ironically, but
I'll tell you who, Dan Worrell. I tweeted that the other day. I mean, he is getting on, but he is a top bowler.
Yeah, I mean, I think he qualifies next summer, doesn't he?
Yeah, but you could see him in Australia.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would. Yeah, I've got mixed feelings about that. How do you feel about that?
Mixed feelings. It's hard.
But he is a good bowler. There's no doubt about that. He's a very good bowler.
Yeah, well, Martin McKay. I mean, it was horrible for him, wasn't it? It was just asking too much for him to go back there. The crowd gave him fearful abuse. So it's hard. You have to be a tough character, but he's a good enough bowler.
Yeah, I just think it would be quite a poor reflection of the English system that they had to go to someone like Worrell, who's a very good cricketer, but he is a product of another system, isn't he?
He has been playing here a while though, whereas Darren Pattinson was not around for very long.
Darren Pattinson was born in Britain to British parents, wasn't he?
He was the son of a Grimsby fisherman. You do have fish farms, don't you?
I don't.
Right.
Taking a turn, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, yeah. Well, anyway, Gus Atkinson, brilliant. A lot of people thought he would do the job. He's come in straight away, hasn't he?
Is that a question?
No, he's already in, I suppose. So the question is, can you get any more Surrey players in?
Well, the two I just mentioned would be pushing, and that Ben Folkes guy's quite good at cricket.
Oh, poor old Ben. Rory Burns probably had it now, hasn't he?
You'd get long odds on Burns and Sibley getting back, wouldn't you?
Sibley's, yeah. Right, Tom Burridge. Anderson remains a high-performing swing bowler who is being squeezed out of the Test team.
A lot of squeezing going on, isn't there?
I squeezed into the suit this morning. Does Bazball still have a place for a bowler in that mould, and if so, who is the youngster to fill it?
Well, I don't think you have to have light-for-light replacements, do you? They're looking for bowlers who they think will work effectively in Australia, and that's not necessarily swing bowlers, is it? So they're looking for more hit the deck, fast bowlers, to be fair. But there's always room for someone who can move. You've got to move the ball laterally, whether that's swing or seam or whatever. You've got to do that. So I don't think it's unreasonable. I think it's nice that Anderson's career's finished well. That's obviously, it felt like a really lovely celebratory day, didn't it?
Yes.
And I think that's something that we can all enjoy. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong to have moved on, and I see the logic in what they've done. I actually think they've handled it really well in that he says he's at peace with it now. It's such a sensitive thing to have done, to have ended a great career before he was ready to go. But it seems that he's just about bought into it, and they deserve some credit for that. Everyone deserves some credit for the way that they're seeing the bigger picture, which is about the... what are you doing?
Invading your space.
Well, I don't mind. It's just you just sort of walked across me.
I had to dust myself. Sorry. Yeah.
Right. Quite lost the plot.
Sorry.
It doesn't matter. I
You
think
have to get in tight because of the microphone.
That's what he says. to
Carry on,
people.
carry on.
That's what he says on the tube.
Yeah.
We don't have a microphone. Anyway, I don't know. If I was a sheep, I'd be worried.
The like-for-like replacement for Anderson is Sam Cook of Essex.
Yeah,
Whose figures are out of this world.
he's a very skillful bowler as well. It's not just about swing with him. And could he be the answer in Australia? I don't know. I mean, it's not just about pace, is it? You have to be good, and there are lots of bowlers. Alderman, Philander, Vass.
Glenn McGrath, different.
Glenn McGrath's quite sharp for a while
bounce
and
as
tall.
well, yeah. And bounce, yeah.
There are opportunities, aren't there, in these next few games for people to establish themselves. But it is these games, it is so important to do it now. And that's why I think the decision is very reasonable. I think it's probably right even to allow, well, to have an opportunity to look at new bowlers and also give them a chance to establish themselves. I like the fact that they're planning.
Cool. You ended a bit abruptly there, planning. I thought you were going to expect. Anyway, next one, Ron Martin. It's not dissimilar subject, to be fair. Considering Chris Woakes' ineffectiveness away from home, did England ask the wrong pace bowler to retire? Well, you've kind of asked.
Well, I don't think that Woakes is going to be in Australia either. Look, I think we've talked about this on previous days. Woakes is there partly because he can bat at 8, and if there's not a number 8 there who can bat, the batting falls off a cliff. So I think he's there in a transitional role. He's obviously a very skillful bowler, a fantastic record in England. Yeah, disappointing game, no doubt about it. Maybe he'll be a bit better in the next game as he gets back up to speed. But I don't think you should be thinking that they've made a choice. I don't think either Anderson or Woakes are going to be in Australia, and I'm not sure that Woakes will even make the series against India next summer, but let's see. That's why I say that someone like Jordan Clark could play at 8. I mean, it's an unusual age for someone to start a Test career. I think we've established he's 33.
When
But
did
it could
Basil
happen.
D'Oliveira start his Test career?
Well, who knows what age he actually was.
36 officially.
So he was probably older than that, wasn't he? One I was quite interested in is Critchley at Essex. I mean, he could certainly bat at 8. Leggy. I don't know. I would have thought that was another name that was just worth thinking about. Do you have a view on that?
Jack Carson of Sussex. Handy all-rounder.
Yeah, maybe.
I've watched a lot of Sussex, so that name came to my head.
Would he be in Test number 8?
Well, it's a handy bat, yeah. But they've gone in a different direction with the spin, haven't they, with Shoaib Basher at the moment. But obviously, Jack Carson's got more wickets. But I see the potential of Basher, certainly.
But you know, they're going to go to Pakistan, and last time they played Livingston, didn't they, in a game anyway. I wonder whether Critchley could be a shout for that position. Anyway, there's a lot up for grabs. England have lost Broad and Anderson in their last 2 home tests. Woakes maybe to follow quite soon after. You know, there's a lot of change. So, as I say again, I think they're right to have a look and to plan, and there are wonderful opportunities out there for young English bowlers.
Tom Vickers asks, given England's obsession in planning for the next Ashes, is this summer's schedule and quality of the opposition good preparation?
I don't know. All I could take any notice of is the slightly bizarre positioning as you go like this. As if
Yeah, for dancing. I was dancing to the music.
Were you?
Yes.
Right.
Look, I'm not invading your space. Come on.
It's really unusual, this.
Well, you're not used to it with my predecessors.
I don't know about that. Oh, God almighty, what was the question, mate?
West Indies, Sri Lanka, are they good enough preparation for Ashes? But we've got other teams to play before then, like Pakistan, New Zealand,
I think you...
India.
I'd be really uncomfortable talking patronisingly about such things. You know, we've seen England lose a lot of games and series by quite big margins, and we didn't necessarily say it was signifying the end of Test cricket. You know, I was looking up the results of the 84 series when West Indies were here in 84, and England lost the first Test, I think was at Edgbaston, by an innings of 180. And look at the results. I think they lost the next one by 9 wickets, then 8 wickets, then an innings and a lot, and then 172. So they were huge margins in that series. And, you know, the wheel turns sometimes, doesn't it? Doesn't feel like that this time. So England have to take the positives from that, don't they? And use these next few months as an opportunity to take a look at new players and establish them in the side. I think that's a reasonable thing to do, but I'm a bit worried about the summer. Yeah, I don't know how many people are going to keep spending hundreds of pounds on test tickets to watch games as uncompetitive as this. But I say that with the caveat I gave at the start of the answer. Is that reasonable?
Yeah, very reasonable.
I'm not massively optimistic for the Sri Lanka or West Indies sides.
I think West Indies will get a bit better. Beckenham 3-day counter select 11, terrible preparation. I think they will get better a bit. So, yeah.
Teams don't prepare on tours anymore.
No. And as Shield Berry says, you go 1-0 down. Most series are 2 tests. So really, the only sort of dilemma is whether it's going to be 1-0, 2-0, or 1-0.
Right. So we're paying lip service to Test cricket a bit at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah, but this is a 3-test series.
And we're treating the audience, the broadcasters, the people watching at home and in the grounds as fools.
It's unacceptable. It really is, isn't it? I was going to make another point, but it's gone now. So we'll move on to the next question at the moment. Nishan Sapkota asks, would England play Jofra Archer, Mark Wood, Gus Atkinson in the same test, fitness permitting, as their similar bowlers with high pace?
I don't think they are that similar. Yeah, I think that could happen. I mean, that would be the dream to have them all available, wouldn't it? But yeah, could that be the attack for this first test in Brisbane or Perth if it turns out to be there? Yeah, why not? I mean, Atkinson doesn't take the new ball, so guess Mark Wood. Ben Stokes could take the new ball, and Jofra could bowl anywhere. So let's just hope they're fit, and that's an opportunity. But yeah, absolutely they could. And you've probably heard me bang on this theory that I would like them to start to invest in Reece Topley as well, with a possibility of having a tall left armour there as well. I don't think that will happen, but I think that would be quite an attractive proposition, wouldn't it?
Well, yes, yeah. I mean, if he was, I think he said himself he needs to 6 months preparation, warning to get to do certain, routines in the gym and stuff. And,
yeah, he'd have to get fit for it. Yeah, it'd be difficult.
I mean,
but he's got a lot of skills.
You were saying about Matt Potts was a potential for number 8 batting, isn't he?
Well, I don't. I think he's be a place too high at 8 personally, but his batting's coming on. I saw him score 100 at the start of this summer in the Championship, and he's a good cricketer. I think he'll get an opportunity in the next game or two, and he'll have an opportunity to bat at 9, I expect there. But
Atkinson's so accurate, isn't he? He bowls such tight lines, doesn't he? He's
very straight.
Yeah. So a bit different to Wood. I mean, Wood.
So if you want to get geeky on this, my slight concern about Atkinson, if it's a concern, a unique selling point you might say, is his scrambled seam. I just wonder what you would think if you were the bowler at the other end. Say you're trying to look after the ball, you're trying to get it to reverse later or whatever, and Atkinson bowls this scrambled seam, could hit absolutely anywhere, and then you get it back at the start of the next over, you're trying to swing it whether conventionally or reverse, and it looks like a dog's chewed it. Is that a problem? I don't know, really. It's very unusual. I can't think of anyone who, maybe I'm being naive, remind me, people watching, who has bowled with a scrambled seam as much as this. He's not bowling wobble seam, he's bowling scrambled seam, and he's doing it as his stock ball, his words. I can't think of anyone who's done that, but am I wrong?
You're more of an expert on scrambled seams than I am. I mean,
certainly
the
not.
Kookaburra ball loses its shine after 6 overs, doesn't it? So,
well, it will do if you bowl with a scrambled seam.
Is that relevant? I don't know.
Don't know. I mean, you've still got to look after the ball. You can still get it to reverse.
Yeah. I mean, Alec Bedser, of course, used to bowl those cutters, didn't he?
He did. Uncovered wickets quite often. Yeah. I mean, it's a different game, isn't
it? Loved it.
Really, other interesting thing. Again, I'm playing free and easy with the word interesting. I find it interesting. So there are now 3 English guys with amazing figures in their first test. I can't remember their name. Marriott,
the hotelier.
Was the other one? Who's the other guy who got 12th for? Has even better figures than Atkinson.
John Lever.
No, is it Ford or something? So Marriott only played 1 test. That was the only test he ever played. He got an 11th, and the other guy got a 12th, left armour, and he only played 2 tests. Weird, no?
Different times, George. Different times. Amateurs, I suppose.
Different times.
Amateurs, do you think?
We are.
I mean, Marriott busy with his hotel chain. I just couldn't play again, could he? So he was a 5-star bowler. I'll give him that. Are we done with the poor jokes and the tennis?
I don't know. Was there any more?
Yeah, that's the 5 questions today, isn't it? Yeah.
Thanks for the questions
No,
over the
it's good.
test. We'll see you in
Trent Bridge.
See you in Nottingham, yeah.
Yeah. Cheerio.